They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robin on the mic.
Welcome to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live as well as YouTube Live. We are desperately in the studio trying to lift a chair unsuccessfully.
Over the desk
And all of the microphone equipment. We were not successful.
And then I had the great idea, let's turn it on the side and angle it around the desk.
And then the bong. We have a gong back here. George has a gong that he can, gong anyone at his moment. And all we're doing, the chair is just hitting the gong repeatedly. We are a comedy skit. Welcome to another Thursday with your two favorite people. Robin,
yes,
how are you?
I'm good. I'm better now.
Yeah, that we almost peed laughing before the show started.
Yes. Yes, and I cannot get a good night's sleep lately. I pay a lot of money for a sleep number, and I think that our I think my bed reads us as one.
You do snuggle too close.
I think so. Well, Chris got up this morning at just before 5, and I'm like, Are you getting up? And he's like, yeah, I'll probably be back. And I was like, what's the matter? And he's like, well, you're on my side, and I couldn't sleep. I'm like, why don't you just shove me? Why don't you just nudge me over? He's like, I didn't want to wake you up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm looking now, I'm feeling it. I'm like, wait, I can still feel my edge, so I can't be that far over.
Right.
It's like,
and do you have the cats with you, taking up space?
No. No, they'll come up and they just visit you for a little bit, but they won't. If I'm sleeping by myself, then Stella will come in and sleep with me. But I don't think she does it all night.
My boy Kitty loves to sleep with me.
Does he go up when you guys go to bed?
He will go up, and then he goes and patrols, and then whatever time between 1 and 3 he comes. And if it was very exciting this morning because there were bunnies. There's a bunny outside.
Aww.
So he had to let me know, hey, I've protected you from this soft, fuzzy thing. The house has been protected. Thank you. You should thank me. So he wasn't. But the other day, he was so long that he took the whole side of the bed, but instead of being parallel to the edge, he was perpendicular to the edge.
Yes.
And I don't want to disturb him, so I go on John's side, and John's on the edge. He's falling off. He's got one leg dangling so that the cat's comfortable. Yeah. So.
Yes. Milo likes to lay that way. He doesn't like to lay up against you. He likes to put his back feet against you and have his head towards right on the edge of the bed. Jeez Louise, buddy. But he doesn't stay very long, just enough to wake you up and,
disturb things.
Yes. And he'll nip at you, he'll nip at you hey, you're not rubbing me, come on.
Yeah, Bosco used to pen himself with my hand.
Well, the
I
other day.
catch him rubbing himself against my hand, and that sometimes is what wakes me up. Sometimes he takes his palm and bats my face.
Yes.
And he's got one middle finger that's a little longer.
Yes, and he'll just barely tap your eyebrow and tap your head. Hey, I'm awake. I'm here. Just... Cats are ridiculous. They're so funny.
They are really funny. All animals are kind of funny, but cats are especially so.
Yesterday I was getting ready to go out, and I went to the closet in the hallway to get my shoes, and both of the cats are loafing right by the door with their eyes all wide, and I'm like, what is on the porch? And I was like, something's there, and I was like, they got to be so bored. Let me have something new.
Right.
So I was looking, and I'm like, is it a bird? Is it a mouse? What is it? It's a leaf.
Yeah. So exciting. Don't you wish you could be that kind of entertained?
And the wind would just catch it just a little bit so it would ruffle, and they're both wow.
So exciting.
I know. Then Milo gets up and stretches, and he's like, exciting. That's over. What's next?
Yeah. What do you think is the most differentiating piece about being Gen X from being a baby boomer or a millennial?
Ooh. That's a good question. I feel like we're a little bit stubborn. I feel like we've decided to go our own way a little bit.
So very good. So I'm going to say that's awesome because we watched a video the other night about what makes Gen X so different and why marketing to that group or the psychology behind that group is different than every other demographic. And they said because we were the latchkey kids where we took care of ourselves. And they had to explain what a latchkey kid was, which is your parents gave you a key. Both parents went into the workforce, so you came home from school and tended to yourself. Maybe you made yourself a snack. Maybe you did your homework. Maybe you watched television.
Played in the neighborhood.
Maybe you played in the neighborhood, but you were
Yeah.
isolated and independent.
Yes.
And they said that at such a young age formed us to be independent for our whole entire lives.
Yeah, independent is a good word. I would, instead of going my own way. Yeah.
And as a generation, we are the hardest working because we know stuff has to get done and we just do it.
Yeah. I agree to that. I believe that.
And we don't care about what our feelings
I think
are
we
regarding
definitely
that.
made it soft for our next generation.
Right, because I think we were trying to compensate for what we lost,
Yes.
which was
Yeah.
childhood in a
Well,
way.
you know, somebody said, you know, we always try to be the parent that we needed growing up.
Mhm.
And I think that's true. Like looking back, to good and bad, you know, to the benefit for good and bad. You know, I think we've definitely catered to trying to make kids feel like they were more important, more seen than, you know, because I mean, what person our age didn't hear the words, you know, be seen but not heard?
Yes. Yeah, the adults are talking. You don't want to hear what children say.
Yes. Yes.
You know, it was, I joke around on this show all the time that I thought my voice was terrible because it was the fact that, hey, George.
Did you see our little snafu with the
Chair?
Yeah, you
We
can.
have no
Hop
guest.
on.
You want a guest?
You want to come on?
He just wants to interrupt.
Well, we were going to try to switch these chairs out because that one's broken. It's got to lean to the side. So
I'm
she's
listing to the right.
Like,
Nothing.
well, we
couldn't
tried to lift it over the thing. We couldn't lift it, and then we couldn't get it
We're
around
weak.
that way.
We're weak, like Ukraine.
Put that thing back. It's
We-
cockeyed for when you leave.
We need some muscles.
It's cockeyed, Lisa.
Okay. It's cockeyed that way now, too. It's coming. All right. So
We have a copy of it. Sorry for the interruption. We were trying to get George to jump on.
we were trying to get me to get out of a listing chair. I'm listing like the Titanic before it went down.
We'll
I'm
let
just
you
like
come on if you
sliding on
move our
one
chair.
side.
You still want to snap.
But one of the things I think is so interesting about Gen X is I don't have any kids, and I'm amazed that, to finish my thought from before, I thought my voice sounded terrible because no one wanted to hear what I wanted to say, but they didn't want to hear children speak.
Yes.
And they certainly didn't want
Yes.
children to be the most logical one in the room.
Yes.
Because they weren't going to listen to you as a
Yes.
kid. You had nothing of
Yes.
importance to say.
Yes.
We were the adults.
So I feel like a lot of baggage comes from that too. I feel like a lot
Absolutely.
of insecurity and not feeling good enough, which is actually kind of want to talk about a little bit too. I've been listening to The Law of Divine Compensation. I'll read it, but I want you to finish. I want you to finish what you were saying.
Oh,
Like, didn't
and
want to-
one of the things I think is interesting, I don't have children, but every one of my friends, every one of my friends have 20-something-year-old children who love to be with them and spend time with them.
yes,
And my generation doesn't understand that because we couldn't get out of the house fast enough.
yes,
We were like barely legal, running away and doing our own thing and wanting to make our own rules. And even like I think of my father-in-law, and he says, he bought a house so that the kids would come back, but between 20 and 30, they wanted nothing to do with him.
yeah,
And it's like, but
Yeah.
now they're coming back, and he's like, well, I've made other plans.
right.
I'm doing my own thing. I did this during that time. And everybody in their 20s was saying, but I don't want to hang out with my parents when I'm 20.
right.
But every one of my friends' kids want to hang out with them at 20.
Yes.
Friday and Saturday night, no privacy for you guys.
Yeah.
I was going to joke that you should like start hanging underwear on the door like you're in a frat house. Like don't open this door
Yeah.
if there's underwear
some toys,
dangling.
leave some toys around. It's
Because every one of my friends says the same thing.
Well,
We
you
have
know-
no privacy. We thought when the kids went out of the house, we were going to have some kind of freedom, but we have zero because all of
Yeah.
our kids
yeah.
want to spend every waking minute with us.
So we
And
go
I think that's a
bowling.
testament
Yes,
to the
yes,
parent part
Yes.
where they don't hate their parents. They
Well,
don't
you've
hate you
created
guys.
a connection, but so I didn't like to be told no without a reason why. I think you're just, and I don't think it was because I was being, a brat.
Or defiant.
Defiant. I think I was really just trying to figure stuff out. Like, trying to feel like,
And I didn't trust
why isn't
you.
this? Because I feel like I'm a pretty logical person. I feel like, help me understand, especially like even doing, take it down to math, if I understand how that works, then it's easier if I understand what I'm doing instead of just
Blindly
do this,
following.
just do this and then divide that and then carry this and do that and then blah blah blah. It's like it's too much. Like I would always ask. I was always inquisitive. I would always ask questions, and it was always told no, or it doesn't matter, or I don't have to answer to you, or it doesn't matter why.
This is the way we do it.
Yes.
Because.
And I remember, like, I didn't want to raise my kids that way. I mean, there were times where, I just said, that's something that you don't need to worry about. But literally, I mean, my kids had sleepovers during the middle of the week. If they could do a good job and get up in the morning, go to bed when they need to go to bed and get up and get to school on time, I didn't have a reason to say no. And you didn't even think about it. Like, it was no way when we were growing up, you're not going to have friends over during the week.
I never had a sleepover in general. I mean, I had a cousin sleepover, but I never had friends sleep over my house. And I never slept over a friend's house.
We had a few, but mostly it was me going over there instead of coming to our house.
I think my mother was like afraid of pedophiles or something. She was just like, you're not having that story. You can cry all you want in your room. But we're preventing a story that she must have, in the back of her head was like, absolutely not.
She's like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, we're not having some whatever.
Yeah. But I always talk to my kids. I felt like one of the most important things growing up for them, which obviously was probably for healing my own child, was I always wanted to keep the lines of communication open. I didn't want them to think that there was something, I didn't want them to hide anything from me. And not hide anything from me. It was more from the place when I was a kid. I remember being in my room and just so confused and had so many questions. I remember laying in my bed and at night and just having so many questions and not feeling like I could talk to anybody. Like, God forbid, I'm not going to talk to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want my kids to feel that way.
Yeah.
I didn't, especially if like it was something to do with a boy or a guy. It's like you hid all that. You hid all those feelings because it was just not, I don't know. I don't think it was an intentional, you don't matter.
Right.
But it's, they would come home from work. My mom would make dinner. Then it was homework time. And my mom was actually going back to school for psychology at the same time. So she was doing college courses. And then, you have that few hours of window there. So there's not a lot of communication. There wasn't a lot of communication. And when we did have free time on the weekends and stuff, we were always out playing in the neighborhood with the kids. And, we joke the neighbor had a cowbell, and everybody, when you heard the Callahans ring the cowbell, it was time to go home for everybody. So I mean, like everybody synced up to the cowbell, like, more cowbell. Just weird how that, So I do think too. Well, what's funny, Chris and I were talking about the other day. Our daughter's letting us know her plans for last weekend and stuff, and she's like, "We'll be here for this. We'll be here for that." And it was when I got home from Florida, and she's like, "What?" She was texting me while we were at the airport, like, "Hey, what do you guys do? What are we doing for dinner?" And I'm like, "I'm not even, I'm still in vacation mode. I'm
not ready for chores yet.
I'm not ready to go home. I'm not ready to deal
Especially if I'm required to go to the supermarket and make dinner. I really don't want to go home.
But she and her boyfriend family is so important to them. And so they divide their time. And I'm thinking, like, I've been away from Chris, he and I, like, I just want to spend my evening, with him. And of course I love my kids, but we literally think that she thinks that she's blessing us with her company. And I love it. I wouldn't change it. I would never want her to change that. But they divide their time evenly because they do enjoy it.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend is bowling with us on
when
Tuesday
she's
nights.
not around.
Right. He sends me a text message. He's like, "Hey, you're going to be home at 12:30 because I got to go pick up some clothes for Kayla. She's selling some of her clothes and stuff online, so she's gonna ship them out to her.
Is she using Depop?
I have no idea.
Mm.
I don't know.
Interesting. Let me
What's
know how it goes.
Depop?
It's supposed to be a clothing selling
Oh,
app, and I don't know if it's good or not.
I don't know.
I'm
I know one time she was doing Shopify. I mean, not Shopify. Poshmark,
Poshmark. Okay.
maybe.
I heard not so great things about them. I think everything is good at first, and then at some point they make it suck.
Wait, what is it? What is it called? Depop?
Depop.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah. So you can, it's supposed to selling good quality clothing. You're not supposed to, throw any trash up there
Yeah.
because people are paying. But
Well, I think Poshmark. You look on there, and I think some of the stuff is overpriced for used clothing. Like, and it's not even like a designer label.
right.
I'm like, nah.
Yeah. So I think people are like, oh, I don't have to go to work if I just sell stuff that I find and just mark it up. Where
Yeah.
that's not necessarily what you're looking for. It's like, well, this isn't some vintage Chanel piece that
Right.
costs $3,300 and now you're selling it for $15. You got the thing at Walmart.
Some used Converse for $45. Like, no thanks.
I was going to say used condom. Because Converse wasn't in my head as like a clothing line for a second. I was like, what is she going?
Your
Oh,
mind is a gutter.
used. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's funny. So,
But guys, I was thinking about this Gen X thing, and I think that's why Gen X is so anti-AI. Like, I think we grew up with the Terminator.
yeah,
The robots were going to turn around and destroy us, right? That was our mantra of a movie. Literally,
yeah,
right? And then
yeah.
we're independent, so it's very hard to just tell us things. Like, COVID was really hard for most of us because we were like, I need you. Is this like when you're showing me videos of Hiroshima being bombed, and vaporized off the planet, and telling me to get under my desk? Feels that way. Feels a little bit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I need this to make sense in my head.
Yeah, it's true. I can't. I've had a hard time watching. We talked about this before. Like, I'm done with apocalypse movies,
Dystopian,
zombie,
end of the
yes,
world,
yes.
Independence
Yes.
Day.
But I do think that, all right, so let me ask you this. Do you think that the movies that they're putting out, like they all seem to be on a thread or a genre, or like, shows come out and they all seem to be this end of day. Like, think about after COVID, like all the kinds of movies. It was like gloom and doom, doomsday. What's that? I was telling you, Fallout. That was a game, PlayStation or Xbox or something like that. Now they've made a movie out of it. And it's about controlling masses of humans. We're going to all go underground, or like even Ready Player One, like looking like surviving, a nuclear fallout, destruction, and how everybody's turned to AI in virtual reality worlds. Like, do you think that that's like,
I think it's a cultural. They're
But do
trying to
you
have a
think it's
cultural discussion about what's
training?
happening.
but do you think in some ways that might be a strong word, but do you think it's training us to being able to
Accept what we don't want to accept.
something that,
Makes us less human in a way.
yes,
Yeah.
or a potential reality if AI ends up taking this?
Yeah.
and
If you show something enough, it becomes normal. That's why
Yes.
porn becomes a problem.
Yes.
Because the
Well, you get
regular thing doesn't.
desensitized,
You
whether
get
it's
desensitized.
murder,
Yes.
like movies, horror movies, all that stuff. Whatever you put in front of you over and over again, you become desensitized to it. You
Right.
become numb to it.
To make the same impact, you need it to be more in some
Right.
capacity. So I think if you normalize enough nonsense, the nonsense becomes the norm.
Yes.
And I loved this. There's these two guys on Instagram. I don't know what their handle is. I don't follow them, but every once in a while they come into my feed and they talk about what happens in the boardroom. Like, they imagine what happens in the boardroom at CVS. And so they're like, I think our receipt needs to be 8 feet long. Oh, I really like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
Should we make them ring themselves out? Yes, but only after we lock up everything in the store.
Yes.
And then there's only one person and he's 15 and he's pissed at you. And he's the only one with the key. And you just have the dinging going on.
And he's printing photos and filling prescriptions.
Yeah, and you just need, and you can't ring yourself. Like, and they're doing this whole thing because it seems so bizarre in the world that you wonder what is happening in boardrooms.
Yeah.
You wonder if they're like, how could we make this customer experience any worse?
Yeah, I agree.
So Southwest, I have been literally a walking advertisement for Southwest for 30 years. I've loved that airline. Love, 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 love.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad word to say about Southwest. The last 2 flights
And
in
they're
Florida.
friendly. They're friendly. They're probably the most friendliest airlines to fly.
They're fun.
Yes.
They make jokes. They make fun of
sing.
you. They sing. Like, they are fun
Yeah.
as an airline. And they were always relatively cheap. They did get a little bit more expensive. But once you sort of have that brand loyalty, you'll pay $20 more to be
Yeah.
on your brand.
Yeah.
Because you just know what you're going to have. I've never been delayed. Just everything about Southwest I couldn't love anymore. Well, they changed from non-assigned seating to assigned seating.
Why did they change from assigned seating?
I don't know.
I wonder if they'll change back.
I think it was a revenue enhancer, right? Because now they're going to charge you per seat, blah, blah, blah. And every other airline's been doing that. We just looked at Delta's
Yeah.
been doing it. So I read the blowback. Newsweek had an article, and it said people who didn't fly Southwest, you made a change catering to people who weren't your people. And what you did is take all your people and upset them.
Yeah.
And tell them that they didn't matter. Because we were all fine
Yes.
with a not. I've
Yeah.
been flying not assigned seats
Well, again, it comes
for
down to
30
so
years.
then it comes down to money.
And then they delayed us. And now they made my experience on both sides awful enough I had to tell a flight attendant. And I said to her, I
Right.
know you don't care. I know you didn't make this change.
Right.
I know this comes down from some corporate thing.
Yeah.
But it will, if that's going to be my experience on Southwest, you're just a crappy airline like everybody else. You've lost what made you
Yeah.
the different airline
Yeah.
to fly.
Because you were willing to give up first class or like a business seat because it's one price.
Yeah.
You get on. It's
It's like a lottery system. Sometimes you do great, sometimes you don't.
right.
But it's almost like when you pick in the lottery ticket, like, am I going to win today?
Yes.
Am I going to be in aisle 7? Or am I going to be in
Yeah.
aisle 27?
I think you take the one thing that people appreciated about it, and then you take that service away.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. I don't
Because
think
now
they'll ever go
we're-
back.
Because now we were sitting on the tarmac for like over an hour
Both times.
trying to get people in the seat that they were supposed
Pay
to sit
to.
in.
So that was the thing I found really annoying.
And they're like, "Oh, now they want you to move." And I'm like, "No, we just upgraded. We
And
just
paid more
We
for the
just paid
seats."
$40 to sit together. You just got another $80 from us. And I'm not moving just because you need to balance the plane out. Sorry.
So what they did was they charged for seats, right? And so the best seats are the exit seats. Well, they are like 3 times the amount of another seat.
Right.
So the best seats, which were the middle, were blank,
And nobody sat in them.
and nobody sat in them. Nobody
So we
paid
were
that
all going to
extra
die. So
fee.
nobody was going to save us if
Right.
know.
So it's the most important thing in the world that we agree verbally that we're going to open the thing, but now nobody's in the seats.
Right.
And then they were telling people we need volunteers to make the weight and balance of the plane take off. That sounds like a you problem.
From road 1 through 9.
1 through 7, I thought it was, or 1 through 8.
No.
Oh, maybe it was.
I
1
think it
through
was
9.
1 through 9 because we
Okay.
were in 7, and they had asked
to go
or
all the way
maybe-
back to between 20 and 27
Right.
to have it, because now the front of the plane is weighted more
Right.
than the back of the plane.
Right.
And that sounds like that's a you issue.
Right.
And now that you're charging people for seats, we're not helping you.
Yeah.
We're mad at you. And now you're mad at us.
Well, I hope people don't pay for their seats on Southwest.
Then we're all in the back 7 rows because those are the only seats that don't cost money. So it is going to be a new experience. But I was thinking, like, I wonder in the boardroom, I'm sure Mr. Burns was there with his, like, fingers steepled and he's got his craggly, like.
This is going to be a great
I
idea.
think we should charge everyone more. I think we should. And one of the things I hate, and the rental world got this way,
Yeah.
and the big companies, oh, it's $1,800 for rent, but you want a key? Key's $25 a month. Oh, do you need to get into
Yeah.
your garage? That's $25 a month.
Well,
do you
that's
want
the way
to
the
use
cars
the
are
pool?
going to be. If you want heated seats, you're going to have
The
to pay
nickeling and diming.
per month. And I think that we don't, which is funny, guys, because Gen X, like, we're kind of independent.
And we're not doing that.
Well, but the thing is, we are doing it. We're not going to.
Yeah.
We have a voice, and we don't use it.
Our voice is our dollars.
Right. But so boycotting, boycotting is, if everybody decided, hey, we're not going to pay for these prices, you're going to feel it. These big companies are going to feel it. If you don't pay for your upgrades, I don't care about, I'm going to have my, think about it. You're already paying. Like, can you even buy like an economy car for less than $30,000? Can you
I don't
even
think
buy
so.
a car?
I don't think so.
Like when we were growing up, you could find a used car, a decent used car for $5,000, $10,000,
$3,000.
$3,000. But now you could get into starter cars, for probably like 20 some $1,000. You could get a brand new car for in the low 20s, bare bones. But now you can't touch anything
I know.
under 30 grand. And now they want to say, what's an average size SUV? Like all the little ones, I don't know, 40, 50 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not, and now you want to nickel and dime me for all the extras.
Right.
So you want navigation? Well, that's going to be $99 a month.
Right.
Like Tesla's doing it now.
Right. And Harley plans on doing it.
So if you want a radio, it's going to be $30 a month.
Right.
So I'm not.
So I think the fact that Southwest went to that business model says that you don't appreciate the people who are flying you for 30 years. Because when
Right.
I wasn't sitting next to you, I sat next to two women just like me. That's the airline they fly. Because what I said was, if Southwest goes there, I'm going on Southwest.
Yeah.
If Southwest doesn't go there, well, then I can't use Southwest.
Right.
But that's how little I've flown any other. I mean, when I went to Greece, I flew on Delta.
Yeah.
When I went to Aruba, one of the times, they only had one flight and it was full out of Manchester, so I ended up going JetBlue.
Ugh.
And then one time when you and I went to Florida, we went on JetBlue.
Yeah.
And JetBlue, on the way back from Aruba, their plane had a mechanical failure, and we had to land in a different island altogether, and we sat there for like 20 hours. But I was appreciating that they didn't make us go back on that plane across the ocean, and that they flew
Yeah.
in another plane
Yeah.
and another crew. So I was
Yeah.
appreciating that. So I didn't complain. But I just haven't had a lot of experience with other airlines because I'm a
Southwest loyal.
I am Southwest loyal. So it's going to be interesting. And I was thinking about how our, corporations are sitting there like the Mr. Burns with a steepled finger going, how can we make this worse? How can we aggravate them more? So when everyone says that AI is stealing your job, actually a robot is doing some function, but now the customer is doing the job. They're paying,
Yes.
and they're paying more for the technology so that
To
they
do
can
it
do the work,
ourselves.
to do it ourselves.
Well, did Gen Xers ruin it?
No.
I actually hate it. I hate the fact that you go through and I'm shopping and now I've got to do my own. I have to check myself out.
Mhm.
And then the line gets busy and you didn't scan something right or the vegetables. Then if you're going to do it, make it so easy. Make it so easy. I don't want to weigh my vegetables and then have to type in my barcode or have to
Yeah.
go look up my item.
Yeah, you don't want to work there.
Get the barcode right.
And I think so. Every time they talk about new jobs, and it's like, we lost travel agents because it was book your own flights. We lost this because it's you do it yourself. Everything
Yeah.
became we are a do it yourself group, but we're sold that AI is fixing problems.
Right.
So don't fall for it. Just like we didn't fall, like we all as a group were like, the Terminator is a problem.
Right.
We can see it now. We've
So the
seen
problem-
the movie.
so the problem-
you kind of see the
well,
movie.
To me, I feel like one of the problems with AI is that AI
It's
does
wrong.
not have it doesn't have the ability to have sympathy or empathy.
Mm-hmm.
AI does not have compassion. It doesn't know how to have empathy or sympathy. So it's like think if we lose that in this world, I just think it's a bad place to be. With no relatability to actually understanding humans' feelings or emotions.
So I was joking. So I was looking something on my Yahoo account, and my Yahoo account I lost I lost control of it years ago because I bought a bunch of furniture, and then I bought a bunch of stuff on Amazon, and then I bought a bunch of stuff through some other websites, and they sell, sell your email
Yeah.
list, and I bought a coffee table from West Elm. Every single day, multiple times a day, they send me couches.
Yeah.
How many couches could I possibly buy?
Right.
Why would you send me
Well, the other thing is
365?
Toyota, they spam you with Toyota, and I'm like, I'll never buy a Toyota.
And
I've actually blocked them. It says when you go and unsubscribe, you can't unsubscribe, and I block them, and it still shows up every day.
yeah, so my newest thing is T-Mobile 5G gift cards. I'm it's spammed, and my erectile dysfunction.
Dang. You got to get that looked at.
Oh my God. Every day, multiple. Are you having problems in the bedroom? Your erectile dysfunction could be hurting your relationship, Lisa. Lisa, I want you to know, Lisa, that your erectile dysfunction is hurting your relationship in your bedroom, Lisa.
They know something you don't know about yourself.
Is your penis not working, Lisa?
It's not. I'm stuck around it.
And it's like, this is the stuff we're all really excited about. How do you guys get excited about that in a boardroom? No one's like holding up Lisa in the boardroom. There's not a Lisa somewhere or a Louise or a Marianne or a Robin in a boardroom going, my erectile dysfunction emails are kind of saying we don't have this dialed in. Maybe we shouldn't let it run the world.
It's funny, when I was working in a lab, they would come out with these new policy and procedures that they would do. And at first, and they base it upon your numbers. Like, they don't have any concept. So we worked in a lab. It was the busiest. It was one of the busiest of their labs in the state of New Hampshire. And there's only 2 people working there. And so by volume, and so they say that you should be at 5 minutes max with one patient. So that's how they base their volume per person. You should be seeing so many people per hour.
So God forbid someone with a cane is walking. When you call their name, you're like, come on, step it up, step it up, step it up. You've taken up 2 minutes by even getting to the back room.
If you come in with somebody who has like, they have like a dietitian. There's a lot of their whole health wellness that I think you pay like 10 grand, you get your blood work done, and they send you the vitamins, diet, supplement, everything to help you lose this weight. Well, it's a panel. And then if you're doing neurology, you literally have like 50 tests to do, and they're so obscure. And it's not ones that you just know right off the bat. It literally will take you 15, 20 minutes just putting in all the test results. And of course, now it's backing up. So we only have 2 people. So you're putting them in. Now they ask you that you want to take a payment, and they want payment. And so everybody was just ignoring the payment part for a while. I'll get to that in a second. So then you actually have to process the blood work. So you have to let it clot, the ones that need to be clot, then you spin it down, whether you need to get platelet poor plasma, so you're doing all of that. So when you do 24-hour urine creatinine clearance, I was pouring out these big jugs, spinning it down, and you get it ready to go to the lab. So when it gets there, it's all ready to go. So that takes time, especially if you're doing a platelet pour. You've got to spin it down a couple of times and get the plasma off of it. Then you spin that down and you get the plasma. Then you get any plasma that's left on it. You've got to spin it all down. Anyway, and it's a timed thing because you can't let them sit too long. Anyway, so trying to pack that in and still keep patients and not have wait times, like you would actually get penalized for having a wait time. And I'm like, who is sitting in around a boardroom thinking that this is a great idea? So you're already like, so when I would wear my Fitbit, so I worked from 6 to 12 every day consistently. I was between 12,000 and 14,000 steps. Like, you are moving the whole time. Like, I would white knuckle my drive home sometimes because it's intense. It's just, and it has to be precise. It's a great lab, but they have a policy, 3 mistakes and you're out. Like, you cannot make 3 errors in a 6-month period.
And if you're working faster under deadline with more pressure, the chance that you would make a mistake is that much more.
Right. And then they're going to say, like, somebody, and I was like, when they came out and saying, now that they're going to require us to take payment. So now that they've bought the software that they can estimate what your insurance is going to pay. And so nobody was following it for the longest time, and they kept coming down the pipe, I'm like, nobody has got time for that. We're not doing it. Because they did a research study that said that there's how much money is lost per year with people not paying their bills, $20 and under.
Right. So wouldn't it make more sense to hire a person dedicated to do that?
Right. No. Because now they're going to get somebody else to work more. So now you're like, they want you to be 3 people, and they still don't staff it correctly. And I went back and forth with HR all the time, got to know him. So finally, I said, why don't you give somebody an incentive? So finally, they came up with an incentive. If you collect your money, then you get, like, if there's certain percentages, you'd get $100, $200, and $300 was the max that you could get. And every quarter, I was getting that $300 because I'm like, you incentivize somebody to do it because again, it's value for value. But I'm like, who's sitting around the boardroom thinking like this is a great idea?
Right. I really would love there to be like open house boardroom. Hey, CVS is having a board meeting. Hey, 10 people who shop at CVS come in and now 50%. And I will say that
I would be on there for Walmart.
But I do like the reason why some people are like, don't you look at the reviews? You have to give reviews credit because some people will complain about anything.
Yes.
Right. So those aren't the people that you're really, but you're trying to listen to your people.
Yes.
Who pay, but if everyone's saying the same thing, like the backlash for the Southwest, Newsweek put an article 4 days later. So by the time we flew home, Newsweek had gone to the airport and talked to Southwest travelers, and every loyal Southwest person was unhappy, and every person who wasn't a Southwest traveler was like, I would consider traveling with them because now they have assigned seats. And it's like, okay, so you might win one Delta person or one JetBlue person or 10 or 100, but you're going to lose 1,000 of your loyal people.
Right.
So I don't know. And I don't know if they'll go back, but they need to figure out. And I don't want to be nickel and dimed. I liked the fact that it was whatever it was.
Yeah.
Not I paid one fee. Now I have to pay another fee to get a seat. Not like, well, what did you sell me if you're not selling me a seat?
So are they going to do away with free checked bags too?
Well, I think they did, unless you're a Rapid Rewards holder or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that piece of it, but I'm a Rapid Rewards holder, so I get them free anyways. So I don't know what they did for that, but it's interesting. I'm gonna be trying other airlines, and I don't think.
Is there any other airline that flies direct from Manchester to Florida? Or is it just on Saturdays?
I heard Breeze does. I heard Breeze goes for $59 from Manchester to Florida. I don't know what airlines. I was just talking to a woman at the bank because I was telling her my Southwest story. That because she was like, "Oh, how was Florida?" I said, "Oh, good, except Southwest was disappointing," which I've never said that in 30 years, And what I used to love about Southwest was they'll have like a $49 deal where your companion travels for $49.
Yeah.
So you buy a ticket and then you get your companion travels for cheaper. And like fly with a friend. I just always loved. They were always so fun, and I hope that they're not losing that part of their culture.
So one of the dentists that I used to work for, he would fly. He had a place down in Florida at Fort Lauderdale, and he would fly. He would get the it's the $99 fare or the $59 fare. He would go on and book like 10 tickets, and then he'd get a fly. Your friend fly free. You buy so many, and your friend flies free, and he would just all put them in his name. So he just had these dates, and I guess they were pretty, I don't know if they still do it, but accommodating about changing your dates.
Yeah, so you pay, there were like want to get away passes, you would pay a certain fee for changing. And then other ones, if you pay a little bit more money, there's no cost to change your time or day.
Yeah.
So like they have the different barrels that everything goes in, which I totally get, but don't charge me for my seats. What are you going to charge me for drinks? Yeah. What are you going to charge me for pretzels? Like we're already, what was it? Remember, not that airline food was ever good, but you provided some kind of meal.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
that. Now, I don't know.
Now you can pay like $7 for like two pieces of, two like Domino's size shaped pieces of cheese and piece of like dried out turkey that you're like, is that even meat?
So I hate that. I hope they don't become disappointing overall. I hope they listen to the message. I hope they listen to us. And it was funny because the flight attendant, I said, I know you're rolling your eyes back in your head and you have no interest and this is all new and you don't want to do it too. But and she said, you should provide that feedback to Southwest directly.
I do remember that.
And I said, you know what? I have traveled Southwest for 30 years and I've never had the need to give feedback. I think that's a testament to how amazing you were running, that I never had anything to say.
Yeah.
Because I've only ever had good experience. But see, that's the thing is
that's where your voice counts. Like people won't take the time to do you've got your keyboard warriors that are always going to complain about everything. But it's the people that enough of it. Like for me, like even if I'm disgruntled, am I going to really take the time to go make the... I think there's more people like me saying,
John will never go to a restaurant again. Something happens, he never gives them an opportunity
Right.
to make it right. He goes, I'll just never come back.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good restaurants that I like to eat at. We had one bad experience, and he won't go with
Yeah.
me there again.
Yeah.
So there's
I
like a
do
Thai
like to provide the
place.
opportunity to make
Yeah.
it right.
And because I've worked places where if something happens, let me know. I would like to make it right for you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to leave here mad if I have the opportunity to fix
Yeah.
it. You know,
See, I
So-
think if you know that you're flying Southwest, then you know that what you're signing up for. I like signed seating just because I like the opportunity to not have a middle aisle.
Yep.
Because I feel, I mean, a middle,
Seat.
a middle seat. Because I feel like, oh, she's little, put her in the middle.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, because then I feel bad. Like if I have an aisle seat, and this big dude beside me is all crammed into his seat,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to feel your guilt.
Mm-hmm.
But that's on me.
Right.
You should have gotten here earlier.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But that's the thing. And you could always, so it was by seating position. So there was A, B, and C. So there were 3 boarding stations. So you could buy an upgrade for 20, it was 25, and then it became 40 to get an A.
Yeah.
So you're getting your pick of the plane
Yeah.
because you're the first third. So, and if you didn't want to pay that, and
See, I get that. See, that could make sense. You're giving them the option.
right. And I realized that I stopped doing that for Florida because they let military on first, which is fine. They let women and they let families with children on first, and they let everyone with a wheelchair on first. When you're coming back from or going to Florida, there's a lot of wheelchairs.
Yes, there's a lot.
And you're like, I know those people aren't even on wheelchairs, but I know that they want to get on the wheelchair section. So I was paying for A when I didn't need to because I was on B anyway. So I stopped doing the
Yeah.
upgrade, and you know
Yeah.
what? I was fine.
Yeah.
I was fine.
Yeah.
We're all either crashing
I
together or
wouldn't-
landing safely together. I'm fine.
So see, if it's a quick flight like that, then I wouldn't mind. If
Yeah.
I'm flying to California or if I'm
Yep.
flying overseas, does Southwest even fly international?
No, I don't.
don't
I
think they
don't
do.
actually know
I
if
think
they do.
I don't think they do, but I don't know. I don't even know if they have planes big enough.
Right, because
I
they
think
fly
they're
all
all-
737s, right?
I think they're all commercial, like
Mm.
here.
Well, they're all the same plane, so their pilots are all the.
Yeah.
It was a smart. Southwest was so smart about how they
It's a
came
good business
in
model.
as an airline and they killed it.
Yeah.
They killed it.
Yeah.
And so it would be for me it'll be a sad era if I don't get to continue to it because I enjoy people hate
I
flying
think
because they hate the airlines.
The $39, $49, $59 fares, and it would get frustrating sometimes when you're like, oh, hey, you got one for $39, and then on the way back it's like $280. You
Yeah.
can't find one to go back.
Or it's $39 and you're going to charge me $119 per leg and you don't fly direct there. So
Yeah.
now I'm paying per leg.
Yeah.
Because that's what I said to the flight attendant. I said, there was no direct option here.
Yeah.
So I had to buy my seat. I had to buy twice.
Yeah.
So not fun. You
So you would technically have to buy it 4 times,
If you didn't get a direct home.
If you don't get a direct flight home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, kudos to you if it's all about money and not about customer service.
Yeah, but that's not who you were. As Southwest as a culture, that's not who you
Right.
were. You were the fun airline. Continue to be the fun airline.
Enhanced,
Get
yeah.
us there safely. You were never late.
You were popular, and you did well because you stood apart.
Yeah, because you were different.
Right.
And the people who gave you a try loved you. We flew them once. I flew them forever after that.
Yeah.
We had that one $99, $49, went to Florida, super cheap. They were fun. They were giving away. I remember I still, for the longest time, I had the baseball bat that's at Southwest. It was a pen.
Oh, yeah.
So they were doing like a trivia.
Yeah.
And then they were hucking the bats like through the seats. So of course I get the thing right because John's not going to speak up. So he flings the thing and I give it to John right away and he's like using the bat on my shoulders. He's like, oh, this is so much fun. Like I remember that about my very first Southwest flight.
Yeah.
I remember the joke telling. I remember the sit down, we're late, sit down. I
Yeah.
remember them yelling at people to get out of the aisles, but in a fun way.
Yes.
Where the other ones will just look at someone and we're all delayed 25 minutes because someone's still getting their candy out of their overhead container. And load the back of the plane first.
Yes. That's what it's like. One of those things that, it's
Common sense.
well, it's like wheels on luggage. It's like, why didn't we think of that like 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Like, wow, such a simple concept.
Yep.
But here we are. How long have planes been in the air and we have not gotten it right? Like, why can you not load the back of the plane first?
right.
I mean, even if I'm sitting in first class, I'm totally cool getting on
Right.
last.
But that was the thing about so I do think, and the reason why they were doing A's get on first is because you were trying to get A.
Yeah.
And you're picking your seat. That's why they didn't do it. But if you're now going to do assigned seat, load us
Right.
from the back front.
Right.
And when we were getting off the plane, they were letting the wheelchair people get off first, which was causing us all
Yes.
to sit there. And when we were going down the
Because half the time
escalator,
you got to wait for all the wheelchairs to show up.
yeah, that's why are we waiting for them?
Yeah.
So we were coming down, and the woman behind us, like, I don't know why they did that. They never let the wheelchairs off first. We're all waiting, and I'm yelling, nope, down is up is down. We're no longer going to be a normal airline. We're going to do everything wrong. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But I
You don't
hope
fix what's broken.
I hope Southwest reevaluates.
I do too. I think it's a shame that when you do something just for the money.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny listening to The Law of Divine Compensation.
Oh,
Great
and I'm
book.
so excited. What is this? Is it who wrote it? The law of divine compensation.
Yeah, I wrote it down in my notes. She's I have it up on my Audible.
Compensation.
So she is so obviously she's a Christian. So I mean people can Marianne Williamson.
Oh, I know who she is. Okay.
Just a great read. But when she's talking about too, when she wrote a book and she didn't expect she talks about money and how we're vulnerable, like how we're most vulnerable. Our finances kind of have a lot to do with who we are, whether we want our belief in money. I'm butchering it because that's not the part I want to talk about. But
Yeah.
she did talk about how having a negative mental image, having a negative self view of ourselves, it's how it causes damage, and we're not aligned with. Let me pull my notes up. When you do something just for money, what she was saying is when you do something just for expecting something in return for money, you're not on the right vibration, is basically what she's saying. You're not on the right vibration. She didn't expect to make a lot of money with her book. She just didn't know. But she believed that she was a good person. She did good things. And she believed that she would be rewarded at some point in her life for being a good person. And it did show up financially for her. And through her book, it went through Oprah Winfrey.
Yep.
But how
she actually was going to run for president.
yeah. So how she ties it back into it wasn't the book that made her the money. It was the opportunity, the mindset, and how it created, how the universe filled a space for her for a financial need. And most of us are feeling that we're in a financial need situation, but how we, put our faith and our trust into either the spiritual self or the material self. And this whole world, that's what she's talking about, is focused on the material self. So my notes on the way in, I'll just quickly read them through. She's like, material self versus spiritual self. It will always leave you vulnerable if you're focused on the material self. If my weight, my relationship with my job, I'm not good enough. We all have this underlying thing. I think all of us, even some of these most brilliant people, think about Picasso and even like Einstein, they all had self-worth issues. We all experience self-worth issues because we're not focused on our spiritual self, is what she's talking about. Hating projection, negative energy. When we have a self-hating projection, we are creating a negative vibration in our bodies. Your mortal self is not who you are. On a mortal plane, none of us are all perfect. And on a spiritual plane, we are all we're all created perfect. To identify with your spiritual self means enlightenment. It means that when you can she's like, there's no spot or there's no condition of darkness that we go through in our own mind, somebody else's opinion of us. It's not actually a reflection of actually who we truly are. And it was talking about how it has no bearing whatsoever on the truth of who we truly are, what the universe has planned for us right in this very moment, and for our future going forward. Your past, your mistakes, and even your failures do not limit who you are and what you think is possible for now. One of our biggest hurdles is the belief system that we're simply not good enough. And she is talking about, she says it in a different way. But once you reach that level of spiritual growth, to realize that we're attaching so much of who we are to material world. What kind of car we drive, what kind of house we are, what kind of job we have, what kind of lifestyle we have, who we surround ourselves with, our activities that we do, like places that we shop, like the stresses, even the stresses that we carry. We're aligning with not who we truly are. But what she was talking about is, once you get to that level of growth, that spiritual growth, to realize we're so much more than our material manifestations of what we physically have created in this world. But, do we look for peace? Do we live in love? Do we live in joy? Our spiritual selves, who we are on the inside.
Yeah, what are you doing to nurture the spiritual side of things while you're putting food on your table and having a roof over your head and your kids are going to dance? Well, and your son has soccer shoes and you have a car that it's not cheap to drive. And that you're able,
so we get caught up in paying bills and being an adult and, keeping being, keeping up with it. Yes. That we don't, that's not who we are.
Right.
But yet we allow all of that to affect who we are. It allows us to, say you're stressing about money and you can't pay the mortgage bill. Guess how that's going to show up? Like who you talk to next to on the airplane, how you carry yourself, how you dress, how you behave in traffic. I mean,
right.
It shows up everywhere. But what she was saying, that kids, as they're young, when they're told that they're brilliant and that you will be successful, have such a higher rate of actually being successful. And she was saying that when you're not, not all of us grew up being told that. But we have the ability right now to create, she's talking about a new story, that we have the ability to rewrite a new story, and saying that your past does not dictate who you are right now. And we can let go of all of our failures. Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
You're listening to Lisa and Robin on the mic on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. We are going to the top of the hour. Stay tuned. We'll be back in about 6 or 7 minutes. See you soon.
WSMN 1590. WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at WSMN.live.
USA Radio News, I'm John Summers. The Trump administration laid out its plans for rebuilding Southern California's Pacific Palisades. Wednesday, federal officials held meetings in the fire-ravaged area. Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Lee Zeldin says officials will focus on removing barriers that are slowing down the rebuilding process. President Trump says he and Chinese President Xi Jinping had an excellent call Wednesday.
In a Truth Social post, Trump said that he and the Chinese president discussed a wide variety of topics, including trade, Iran, Taiwan, and the Russia-Ukraine war. He added, "The relationship with China and my personal relationship with President Xi is an extremely good one." Trump reiterated his plans to visit China in April and said he's very much looking forward to it. He ended the post by saying he believes there will be many positive results achieved with China over the next 3 years of his presidency. I'm Mark Mayfield.
The White House confirmed the U.S. shot down an Iranian drone which approached the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. Richard Ingalls says hours later, in the Strait of Hormuz, 2 Iranian ships and a drone approached a U.S. commercial vessel.
Iranian media, which often reflect the government's view, say that Iran had no intention of attacking American ships, but was merely carrying out surveillance. during 2 confrontations off of Iran's coast.
Officials from the U.S. and Iran are still expected to hold nuclear talks Friday. Axios reports those discussions take place in Oman. Savannah Guthrie pleaded for the safe return of her mother. The Today anchor posted a video statement Wednesday night where she asked for those holding her mother, Nancy, to provide proof she's still alive.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
Guthrie said her mother doesn't have medication she needs to survive. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say: "We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great, and even includes an intercom with video to our